Attention, court is now in session. Walter White versus Gus Fring, Heisenberg versus the Chicken Man, chaotic genius versus controlled empire. No sympathy, no excuses, only the truth. Let the trial begin. Round 1, Origin and Rise to Power. Walter White was a brilliant but deeply frustrated chemistry teacher, diagnosed with terminal cancer. Driven by a desire to secure his family's future, he entered the criminal underworld and transformed into Heisenberg, a highly intelligent, ego-driven empire builder who quickly rose to dominance through his exceptional skills. Gus Fring, by contrast, built his empire quietly and methodically over decades. From a mysterious background in Chile to becoming a respected businessman and major player in the underground economy, he maintained perfect composure and played the long game with ice-cold patience and precision. Walter White, 9. Explosive, rapid rise fueled by genius and rage. Gus Fring, 10. Masterful long-term empire building. Round 2, Intelligence and Strategic Thinking. Walter White, once a forgotten chemistry teacher, entered the criminal underworld and rapidly evolved into a tactical genius. Facing constant threats from rivals and law enforcement, he learned to improvise under extreme pressure, turning ordinary lab equipment into weapons and outmaneuvering far more experienced opponents with scientific creativity and desperate cunning. Gus Fring played a decades-long game. From his mysterious past to building a legitimate business empire as a cover, he manipulated everyone around him with cold precision, always staying 10 steps ahead without a single major mistake. Walter White, 9. Improvisational genius. Gus Fring, 10. Superior long-term strategist. Round 3, Psychological Profile. Walter White tells himself a story where he is still the hero, still doing this for his family, even as that story gets harder and harder to believe. His ego feeds on being underestimated, and somewhere along the way, the man protecting his family became indistinguishable from the man enjoying the power. Gus Fring tells himself no story at all. There is no inner conflict to manage, no guilt to suppress, because there was never a version of him that felt it in the first place. His warmth is a tool, applied and removed with the same precision as everything else he does. Walter White, 8. A mind still fighting its own justification. Gus Fring, 10. A mind with nothing left to justify. Round 4, Willingness to cross lines. Walter White's worst moments arrive gradually, each one a little further than the last, each one easier to justify because of the one before it. He doesn't wake up one day capable of unthinkable choices. He is talked into them, slowly, by his own pride, until the line he once swore never to cross is far behind him. Gus Fring never needed to be talked into anything. The line was never there for him to cross, because his calm, unhurried decisions about who lives and who doesn't were never weighed against guilt to begin with, only against whether they served the plan. Walter White, 9. Ruthlessness built through accumulation. Gus Fring, 8. Ruthlessness with no starting line at all. Round 5, Empire Management. Walter White's empire is a reflection of its builder, brilliant, fast, and fundamentally unstable. It runs on his genius and his ego in equal measure, which means every success makes the next mistake more likely, because the man who built it can't stop proving he's the smartest person in the room. Gus Fring's empire is built to outlive its builder. Roles are separated, risks are distributed, and no single person, including Gus himself, knows the whole picture. It survives scrutiny, survives losses, survives years, because it was never designed around one man's ego. Walter White, 8. Powerful but structurally fragile. Gus Fring, 9. A system designed to survive anything. Round 6, Public Image and Influence. Walter White's power is loud, even when he tries to hide it. People feel his presence in a room, the confidence, the menace, the sense that he's always one step from losing control. His influence comes from being feared, and feared men are remembered, watched, and eventually hunted. Gus Fring's power is invisible by design. He is the last person anyone would suspect, precisely because he built decades of trust before he ever needed to spend it. His influence works best when no one realizes it's there at all. Control without the cost of being noticed. Walter White, 8. Commanding presence but exposed. Gus Fring, 10. Total influence with zero suspicion. Round 7. Legacy and downfall. Walter White's downfall was written into his rise from the start. A man whose need to be recognized as brilliant eventually mattered more than his own safety. When it finally ends, everything he built collapses with him, because none of it was ever meant to survive without his hand on it. Gus Fring's downfall, when it finally comes, doesn't take everything down with it. What he built was never dependent on one man standing. Pieces of it keep moving even after he's gone, a final proof that his greatest skill was never needing to be irreplaceable. Walter White, 8. Legendary but doomed by his own need to be seen. Gus Fring, 9. Even in defeat, control outlives the man. Final score. Walter White, 59. Gus Fring, 66. Walter White, you were brilliant, and brilliance, unchecked by control, always burns the one who holds it. Gus Fring, you prove that the most dangerous man in the room is the one no one suspects is dangerous at all. Winner, Gus Fring. Court is adjourned.